Hey guys, another day tips live. I'm just going to wait a couple of seconds for some of you to start pouring in. I haven't really got a proper schedule yet for these lives, so I'm going to try my best to kind of get a schedule together and let you guys know when I'm going live. I see people are joining on. If you're joining on with me this evening, the topic is customer retention. So how do you get customers to buy more? Do let me know in the chat section as well when you join. Your issues with just customers in general, in terms of retaining customers, getting customers to buy. Would love to know you guys' experiences, and I'm going to kick off very soon. So I'm going to kind of explain a little bit about what has kind of triggered me to speak about customer retention. So customer retention is quite simply not just acquiring new customers. So not just getting new customers coming through the door. And it's sometimes like a super focus for entrepreneurs and business people is getting customers through the door. Like, how do we get new customers? How do we get new sales? And that's very short-term thinking, is just getting customers and just getting sales. Like, you want to be thinking about more than just getting customers and just getting sales. You want to be thinking about something that's even more profitable than getting customers and getting sales. I'm seeing some of you guys starting to come in now. So do let me know in the chat how you guys are doing. We're gonna just be speaking about customers and customer retention, hopefully helping some of you guys to not just get more customers to your business, but also retaining your customers as well via some of the techniques that I'm going to be sharing. So yeah, so there's one thing about making sales online, but it's a completely other thing actually retaining customers. So I want you guys to kind of start getting out of the mindset of making sales alone, because making sales alone is not enough for you to run a profitable business. And I'm going to be speaking about why that is in this video. And I'm also going to be speaking about how you can rectify that if your business at the moment is only primarily focused on generating sales. So customer retention speaks to not just getting new sales, getting new customers in the door, but it's about how do you nurture the people who actually buy from you? How do you nurture your customers so that they don't just buy once and never come to your website again, but that they buy continuously again and again and again? And that's the difference between making a sale and acquiring a customer. A sale is someone who might just come to your website and buy and never come to your website again, whereas a customer is someone who will buy from your website, have a positive experience, and actually want to come back and buy again. And that can be a very lucrative business partnership, a business relationship between you and your customers, if you learn the art of not just making a sale, but actually nurturing the people who buy from you on your website so that you can make consistent sales. I hope this is making sense to those of you who are joining me live. If it is, then do let me know your thoughts in the comment section so I can kind of answer questions whilst we're going along. So I've kind of already covered what customer retention is, but just to briefly go over a definition, or somewhat of a definition. So customer retention, the people who buy from your business. Now, this can be done in so many different ways, and I'm going to be breaking this down and really speaking about some of the ways in which you should be focusing on with regards to your customer retention. But firstly, let's speak about some of the benefits. So obviously, some of the benefits kind of just stand out immediately. If you're able to retain your customers, then you're able to make more money. So you're able to make more money from someone who comes across your website and the people who come across your website. So one big thing that comes to mind with customer retention is if you're paying for traffic to your website. So if you've been subscribed to this channel for any length of time, you will know that I speak predominantly about how to market your business online. And I speak about different ways to get visitors to your website. You can get visitors to your website using paid traffic. So if you have a product or a service that you're trying to get out there to the world and you want people to see your product or to purchase your services, and you have a website helping you to kind of market that product or service, then you need a way to tell people that your product exists, that your business is live. And the way to drive people to your website is by using either free traffic or paid traffic. So one thing about paid traffic is obviously you're paying to get visitors to come to your website. So you want to make sure that that is a profitable kind of transaction that you're doing. So if you're paying, say, £10, then you want to be at least getting £11 back, so that you know that you're making a profit from the investment that you're getting. Now, when it comes to actually doing paid marketing, so if you're doing it on Google Ads, or if you're doing it on Facebook, or whatever advertisement platform you're using, it's very competitive. That means there are so many advertisers who want to showcase their products and services. So you're not the only one out there who has a business. You're not the only one out there who has a service. You're competing with so many different people. So one of the ways you can make sure that your advertisement campaigns is profitable is by really focusing on your customer retention. So let's say, for example, you spend £10 today and one person buys. So you're doing Facebook ads, you spend £10 today and one person buys. And let's say they buy products worth £5. So on the face of it, you've made a £5 loss. If you don't retain that customer again, then you've made a loss on your campaign. And if you're doing that consistently every single day, there's only a certain amount of days you can do that for before you start to realize, wait a minute, this is not profitable. This is not bringing me any profit. I'm actually making a loss. So even though I'm making sales, I'm making it at a loss, and I can't keep this up. But if you learn the art of retaining your customers, and you manage to either upsell or cross-sell the person who bought from you on day one, then on day 3 or day 5, or maybe even on day 1, if you upsell appropriately, or maybe next week, maybe next month, you can actually get them to come back to your website and make an additional purchase. And because you've already acquired them as a customer, you don't necessarily need to spend any money to get access to them again. If you've retained their data, you don't need to spend any money to get access to them again. So what this means is, let's say they spend £50 the second time they come to your website as a customer. They've spent £50 and they spent £5 the first time they came. So now that campaign that cost you £5 has now made you £55 in revenue, and it's made you £45 in profit. So now you can start to see how you can kind of structure your paid online marketing campaigns. And this is one of the reasons why some of the really big companies are able to outbid and outperform some of us guys who are smaller entrepreneurs. We're running smaller scale businesses, because they are able to pay more money to acquire a new customer. A lot of us who are doing paid ads, I don't know if you guys are doing paid ads. If you have tried it, or if you're doing it, then do let me know in the chat. Or if you're watching this after the live, do let me know in the comments section if you've tried or if you're doing paid ads. But a lot of the time we're trying to go for the sale the very first time someone hits our website. So essentially, this is most of the time it's cold traffic that's coming to our website. So these are people who haven't really heard about us before. They don't know about our brand. They don't know about you yet, but yet you're trying to sell to them the very first time they see you. And if they don't sell, if they don't purchase from you, then you have no kind of customer retention in place to get them back to your website. So what the bigger companies do is they are actually trying to acquire customers. They're not necessarily trying to make sales. Some of them even make a loss purposely to acquire a customer, because they know they can retain that customer and make a profit later on down the line. And I use the example of Amazon a lot because it's a great example. Amazon are really good at retaining their customers. So more often than not, you're not going to buy from Amazon one time and then never buy from Amazon again. You're going to buy from Amazon, and then maybe a month later or 2 months later, or maybe you buy like weekly. Maybe you buy weekly shopping, or you do weekly shopping on Amazon. Then you know, Amazon have acquired you as a customer. So you're someone that purchases and kind of feeds into the Amazon business week on week. So that's one benefit to actually customer retention. Also, you have reliability. As entrepreneurs, we need a reliable income. We need people who are paying us consistently. We need business that's coming in again and again and again. And if you're an e-commerce business, for example, and you're selling a product, or if you're a service-based business and you're providing some sort of service, it can be difficult, to kind of calculate how much money am I going to make next month, or how much money am I going to make this quarter. And when you have customers who are consistently coming back to your website, consistently coming back to your business, then that's a great way to kind of evaluate, how much, to really determine how much you're going to actually make during this particular period. And you can forecast your money and you can budget your money appropriately. So there are a couple of things that you can do kind of just right out of the gate that anybody can do. You don't need to be a marketing genius or take any special course or anything like that. There's a couple of things that you can do. If you get nothing from this live at all, then I want you guys to really get these points and to really make sure you're implementing this on your website and within your business so that you can improve your customer retention rates and hopefully improve your profitability. Yes, someone's asked, is chat open here? It is open. If you guys have questions, then do let me know in the chat section. And again, if you're watching this after we've gone live, then let me know your comments, your questions in the comment section. And I'll do my best to get to those in the next live if you didn't manage to catch this live. But if you are here live, thank you for joining. And yes, do leave your chats. So some of the things that you can do to improve your customer retention right out of the gate. The very first thing is your customer service. Now, this sounds really basic. It sounds super basic, but it's so important, guys. I really want you to focus on your customer service. Now, this goes down to the product and the service that you guys offer. So is the product as described? Is the service as described? Are people getting what they've paid for, the minimum requirement? Are they going to get it in time? So have you promised them a delivery date? Make sure you're meeting these delivery dates. If there's any issues, if your customer is facing any issues, you need to make sure that you are communicating with your customers as soon as possible. There's nothing more aggravating than when you make a purchase on a website and something's gone wrong, whatever it is. Maybe the product is the wrong product and it was sent to you and it was wrong, or maybe it hasn't arrived on time. There could be a bunch of things that have gone wrong or that's going wrong with your product or with your service. And even if you can't fix it right away, you want to make sure that your customer knows how to contact you and that you're responding as soon as possible with your customers, whether that be email, whether that be Twitter, whether that be Facebook, whether that be a live chat on your website. Make sure people have access to you and they can contact you. I'll give a little bit of an example. Recently, I made a purchase and I ordered it and it said it was going to arrive on a specific date and it didn't arrive on that date. And I was emailing the company saying, hey, what's happened to my product? It's supposed to arrive on this day. I paid for it to arrive on this day. And they didn't email me back for a good 2-3 days. So I made up in my mind that, do you know what? I'm never going to purchase from that website again because their communication was terrible and my product didn't arrive. So those are 2 reasons why I'm not going to, purchase from them again. Even if my product arrived late, but they had, responded and communicated with me, then maybe I would have gave them a pass and maybe I would have been like, okay, cool. The product arrived late, but it might not have been their fault, but at least they communicated with me. So that's one thing that you guys want to keep in mind. I'm seeing you guys in the chat. Rennie is on. Hi, Rennie. Someone is saying names and descriptions, review, shipping, etc. How are these tabbed names affecting your SEO? I'm going to speak about SEO. I'll speak about that towards the end of this live stream. Also, send me an email as well if you've got SEO questions. Then send me an email and maybe I'll do a live on specifically to SEO very, very soon as well, maybe this week actually. So that's one of the things you can do. Another thing you can do is to incentivize your customers. So, if someone has bought from you, someone has bought your product or someone has hired your services, then you can incentivize them to come back to your website or come back to your business again. One of the ways that you can do this is by having a loyalty card. for example. So I've got my Nando's card here. If you're from the UK, or if you're from a country where Nando's operates, it's closed at the moment because of coronavirus. But you know, this is my Nando's card, and on it it says "No clicking, no chicken." So yeah, and that's their little slogan. But every time I go into Nando's, I can actually get them to swipe this card. Nando's is a food restaurant for those of you who might not know. So every time I go in, they can swipe this card and they can see how many times I've been to Nando's, and they can actually, you know, give me a discount based on how much I've spent in Nando's and how many times I've gone to Nando's. And then, you know, they can give you like a free chicken or a free burger, you know, so that kind of incentivizes me to go to Nando's again, because I know, okay, cool, I'm going to go. I've got this little incentive to go now. So what can you add as an incentive on your website? What can you add as an incentive for your business, so that people, you know, feel more encouraged to come back and make a purchase? Maybe when after someone makes their first purchase, you can send them an email. I speak about email marketing all the time. So if someone comes to your website, makes a purchase of your product, of your service, then send them an email, let them know that they get a 10% off the next time they buy. Maybe you can do some sort of loyalty thing as well, so that when they make purchases, the more purchases they make, the more kind of points they build up, and maybe they get something at the end of it, maybe a free gift, or, you know, 10% off your website, 50% off, or whatever it is. You know, think creatively about what you think your customers would want. So that's another great way to retain customers and to keep your customer loyalty up. So you want to make them feel special. You know, if someone comes to your website, don't just make them feel like another customer, but give them something that makes them feel special. Rennie is saying if they bring a friend, yeah, as well. That's a really great point as well. Maybe incentivize them to bring someone along, incentivize them to bring a friend, or to refer your business to somebody else. So yeah, that's another great way to bring people back in. Another thing as well is leaflets or business cards. So for those of you who are selling on e-commerce, for example, so if you're selling products via eBay, via Etsy, via Amazon, and even via your own website, if you're shipping products out, then you can actually have your promotional materials within the box that you're sending it out to your customers to. And that box can kind of contain information about where your customers can go to buy more. And maybe you give them a little coupon as well that they can utilize on your website to get a discount from your website. So you want to make sure that when you post your products out, or when someone hires your service, give them some sort of coupon, some sort of giveaway, some sort of business card or some sort of something basically that tells them where they can get a discount for your business. And those are just throwaway things that you can utilize in your business kind of immediately. You know, you can implement these things right away to help you improve your customer retention. Now, let's go on to some of the more complicated things. These are some of the things that you might have seen in some of my videos. And, you know, maybe you've thought about doing these things and you're thinking about a strategy that might help you. But one of the really important things that you guys can do is to be doing retargeting on your website. So if you go to Google Analytics, and you sign up for a Google Analytics account, if you haven't signed up for a Google Analytics account and you don't know what that is, basically Google Analytics allows you to see all of the analytics associated with your website. So for example, you can see how many people have visited your website. You can see where they came from, if they came from social media, if they came from your paid advertisements. You can see what pages they have visited, and so on and so forth. So you can kind of like keep a track of what's going on your website. But you can also install a pixel code, so a pixel retracking code. And I'm going to be doing more videos on this, more tutorials on this on my YouTube channel. So for those of you who are subscribed, that video will be coming soon. But it's pretty straightforward to kind of get that tracking code inserted on your website, on the back end of your website. If you're using Squarespace, Weebly, Wix, WooCommerce, Shopify, whatever website platform you're using, you should be able to Google, you know, how to do retargeting on Wix, for example, or how to do retargeting on Squarespace. and they should have a guide for you that will teach you, take you through the steps of how to basically add retargeting pixels to your website. So what do retargeting pixels do? Well, essentially, if someone comes to your website and they don't make a purchase, then you can actually track them. So your retargeting pixel will kind of leave a cookie on the web browser that your website visitor was using when they visited your website. Now, that sounds super complicated, but to break it down and make it a little bit more simplified, you guys might have noticed that, for example, if you go to a website and you click on a product on that website for the very first time, this might be the first time you visit that website, and then you go onto Facebook and you're messaging your friend, and all of a sudden you see an advert for the same product that you was just looking at 5 minutes ago. Now, this isn't magic. This isn't witchcraft. Believe me, it's marketing. It's because the website that you were on was utilizing pixel retargeting. That's all it was. So it's a way to remind people that your product exists, that your website exists. And I hope all of this is making sense to you guys. If it's not, then do let me know in the chat and I'll go over some of the things that you guys might be struggling with. But it's a great way to retain your customers as well. So when someone purchases a product from you, you should be retaining their name and their email address. You should also be doing pixel retargeting as well for people who don't purchase from you. And those are two of the ways that you can retarget. So when you're doing Google ads, when you're doing YouTube ads, when you're doing ads on Facebook and on Instagram, there is an option for you to perform retargeting ads. So what you can do is you can go into your Google Analytics and you can get the data of the people who have visited your website, all of that pixel data. You can download that. You can upload that to whatever platform you're using to advertise your products or your service, and you can run those retargeting ads just like that and get people back to your website. So one of the things that's super important to remember is that the first time someone visits your website, they might not make a purchase. They might not be in a ready to buy mindset. So doing retargeting, whether you're doing email retargeting or pixel retargeting, that's a great way to get people back to your product, seeing your product again, seeing your website again. Maybe you offer them something slightly different, slightly cheaper the next time they see it, because obviously the first time they saw it, they didn't buy. So you might want to offer them a discount. Maybe you send them a discount code or something like that. So that's a really great way to make sure that you are kind of your customers are seeing your product again elsewhere on the internet. So another thing you want to make sure that you do in terms of customer retention and getting the most value and also giving the most value to your customers is by upselling and cross-selling. Now, I did a video on this not too long ago, but we speak about upselling a lot. Like, if someone makes a purchase, would you like fries with that almost thing, showing them other products that are of a higher price than the product that they just purchased. But we don't speak enough about cross-selling. Now, cross-selling means that you can sell products that complement the product that they have just bought. It doesn't necessarily have to be a higher priced product. And this is something that we get wrong sometimes, especially if you're selling an e-commerce product. People don't necessarily want to buy a higher priced item. If they've just bought a £10 pair of jeans, they might want to buy a jacket that goes with those jeans. And that could be a cross sell. That could be a similar priced jacket. And Amazon do this amazing. I'm going to refer to Amazon a lot because, they retain their customers really well. But you might notice that when you're about to check out on Amazon, or when you're looking at a product on Amazon, you can often see something that says, people who bought this also bought this, or items frequently bought together. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that on Amazon. And even when you're on the checkout page, or after you've finished buying your product, they'll send you an email to say, hey, look, you bought this, these pair of jeans. These jackets will go well with it, or people who bought these jeans also bought this jacket. So they're not only showing it to you on the page itself, but they're also emailing that to you as well. So that kind of goes into 2 points there in one. But you want to make sure that people who come to your website and who go onto the checkout page, that you are showing them products that they can also buy. So if you're using WordPress, Then there's apps, there's plugins within WordPress, you know, that will allow you to automatically display an also bought feature on your website that's similar to the one you see on Amazon. You can do the same thing in Shopify as well. If you're using Shopify, they also have also bought apps. So if you go into the app store within Shopify, then take a look at some of them. Some of them might be premium, but this is a great way to kind of retain your customers and get your customers to buy more when they actually do decide to make a purchase from your website. And if the same for Wix as well. So if you're using Wix, Squarespace, Weebly, these platforms tend to have app stores as well. So make sure you're utilizing these app stores, and see if you can search for just also bought apps. So when you go into the app store, type in also bought and see what apps come up. And then you can add that to your website, and it doesn't have to be super complicated, guys, but you can really start to see improved sales when someone does come to your website. And I spoke about, you know, email marketing, and I speak about email marketing a lot, so I'm not going to delve on it too much in this video. But the one thing that I want you guys to really think about, actually, no, there's two things I want you guys to keep in mind with regards to customer retention and email marketing. The first thing is to make sure that your email marketing software is connected to your payment gateway. So I use Aweber, but there's loads of different email marketing platforms out there. You have MailChimp, you have ConvertKit, you have Constant Contact. There's so many out there. I really enjoy using Aweber, but I did a tutorial last week on MailChimp because I know MailChimp is free. So a lot of you guys are utilizing MailChimp. But one thing you need to keep in mind is, although MailChimp is free, there are features that you don't get if it's free. So in my opinion, you might as well just use Aweber, which is the better software if you're asking me. But, you know, let's say you're taking payments on your website utilizing PayPal or Stripe. You can actually connect your PayPal account to your email marketing software. So let's say you're using Aweber, you can connect PayPal or Stripe to Aweber. So that means when someone comes to your website and makes a purchase, then they are automatically put onto your email list. Now, this is normally done by a checkbox as well. So you might notice when you go onto certain websites, it says to you, hey, you know, you're about to make this purchase. Would you like to receive, or would you like to be on our newsletter? Or would you like to receive promotional information? And if someone checks yes, then they will go straight onto your email list. So you can utilize a similar thing as well, similar process. So guys, let's start thinking like marketers. Even though you guys are entrepreneurs, you're business owners, you have a product, you have a service, we're seeing all of these savvy things happening on the internet, and some of us are not implementing it in our own businesses, and we're really missing out on opportunities. So I want you guys to be jumping on these opportunities, not just seeing it happen, but actually kind of reverse engineering it and thinking, wait a minute, how can I actually implement some of these marketing strategies for my own business? That's what this channel is all about. I'm trying to get you guys to catch up with the latest trends that are happening so that you can implement it in your business. So the second thing that I want you guys to focus on, as well as making sure that your email marketing software is connected to your payment gateway, is you want to make sure that you add tags. So a tag basically is something that you can identify different customers with. So let's say you have an e-commerce website, for example, and you're selling books. Let's say you have books for children, books for adults, books for women. Those are your categories. If someone buys a children's book, then that's a different customer than someone who buys a book that's targeted to women. So you can actually create tags within your email marketing software as well. So within Aweber, Constant Contact, MailChimp, whatever software you're using, you can tag people who buy women's books. So books that are within the women's category. So that means when you're sending your emails to your email list, you can, for example, specify that you only want to send an email to people who have bought your women's books. So let's say, for example, you have a new inventory of books coming in and you want to market to your customers who have bought before, then you can make sure that you send an email only to the people who you know are interested in female books, female related books. And because these people have bought from you before, they are a lot more likely to buy from you again because they know you, they like you, they trust you, and hopefully they had a really good experience on your website as well. So, they're more likely to purchase again. So Another thing that you guys might want to keep in mind, just as a last point here, I'm going to be jumping off of live very soon. So if you do have questions, this is the time to ask any questions that you might have. But the last thing is social media marketing, is to have a presence on social media, because it might not seem very related to customer retention, but trust me, it is. Because when someone makes a purchase from you, they might decide to also follow you on Twitter, to follow you on Facebook or on YouTube or on Instagram. And if you're posting content on these platforms, then they will remember you again when they're ready to make another purchase. So it's more likely that they will remember you if you're on these platforms and you're constantly putting out content. They might not even open your emails. You know, you might send emails to your entire list, and only maybe 10-15% of your list might open. But some of those people might be following you on YouTube or on Instagram or on Facebook. And that could be a really great way to kind of get back in front of them again, to remind them about your brand, and also to hopefully go on and make additional purchases. So, you know, make sure you're on social media, make sure you have a presence there. And that could be a great way as well to get customers coming back to your website. So hopefully that helps you guys out specifically with customer retention. I don't think we've got any questions in the chat so far, but if you do have questions and you think of one, then, you know, my contact information is on basically every video I put out on YouTube. So feel free to reach out to me if you're struggling with any of these particular issues. As always, I've got the formula, which is behind me. I've got one question coming in. I'm going to answer that soon, but I've got the formula which is behind me. So if you guys really want to understand about how to drive visitors to your website and actually convert those visitors into leads and sales, then make sure you go and download the formula. It's absolutely free. A link to it is on my website. That's DeyTips.com. You'll find it there. That's a resource that I've put together for you guys specifically. So make sure you go and grab it, your copy. One question says, could you give some feedback how these SEO tab product page is affecting your SEO? Tabbed names are most times description, shipping, review. I'm not fully understanding the question, but in terms of like tags and tagging your products, you just want to make sure that you're utilizing keywords that are related to whatever product it is that you're selling. But yeah, send me a more in-depth email specifically to SEO and tags, and so that I can kind of answer that in more depth. And yeah, I'll definitely get to that question for you. But it's been a pleasure. Thank you guys for joining me live. If you do want to know my schedule for being live, I don't have a set schedule at the moment, but I'm kind of trying to formulate one. So at the moment, if you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you're following the DeyTips Instagram. So you can find me at DeyTips. That's DeyTips. Make sure you're following me there. I'm seeing a couple of people saying thank you. Thank you guys for joining me. It's always a pleasure when I see some of you guys here live and chatting with you and just kind of seeing how you guys are doing as well. I hope you guys are doing well during coronavirus, during quarantine. Do let me know how you guys have been, if your businesses have been affected, and how you're just coping with it all. I've been okay here in London, UK, you know, just cracking out as much content as I can to try and help you guys as much as possible. But yeah, would love to know how you guys are doing. Leave me comments in the comment section from Turkey. Someone's saying in the chat that they're from Turkey. Hi, all the way from Turkey. It's incredible. Yeah, so it's been a pleasure. Again, if you're not following me on Instagram, then follow the DeyTips Instagram so you know when we are going live. It's been a pleasure. And until next time, guys, have a fantastic evening, morning, or afternoon, depending on where you are. And hopefully I will see you guys soon.